Richard Gough lifted the Coca-Cola Cup for the 20th time in the club's history, it meant that all three Scottish trophies were once again at Ibrox. The tournament, which began life as the Scottish League Cup, has been successful for Rangers over the years, providing memorable games since its beginning in 1946.
Cooper brought down, free kick. And Cammy Fraser is there, Butcher's there, Durant is there and scores! Durant has scored for Rangers. And they've got 5.5 minutes remaining of the Skull Cup final. Penalty to Rangers. 2-1. Done with the greatest simplicity by the man hoisted up by McCoy's, Davy Cooper. And there goes the final whistle. Rangers have won the Skull League Cup final.
This is my 11th season now. I came to Rangers along with Graham Souness at the start. The League Cup was the first trophy that we won, and I can remember that, and it was a great day and a great night, and there was a great excitement everywhere. And if you've won 5 or 6 of them since then, it's obviously maybe not going to be exactly the same type of feeling, but the motivation to win that trophy is still there, and that's the most important thing.
The campaign began with the defeat of Clydebank by 3-0. Rangers then met 2nd Division Ayr United at Ibrox, but as so often happens in the Cup, there are no easy matches.
No, there's not. And when the games come up, as the League Cup games do, as I mentioned earlier there, the timing of them, when they come in among big matches for you, I think it's natural for players to drop a little bit from the standards that they've tried to achieve in terms of, we had some big matches running about the United game, and that certainly had an effect on how we approached the game. That not acceptable or not an excuse for us, but that's what happens in the League Cup. That's what makes it a difficult competition for the bigger clubs when they are playing big European games, big league games, international matches, and all of a sudden they're hit with a game where they're playing against a team for a couple of divisions lower. It would be natural for them to assume that they can be down a couple of gears and get through, but it never works out that way. And Ayr United put up a very spirited performance that night, and we got through. We scored a couple near the end. Obviously relieved to get through, but credit to the way they played. They showed a great spirit, great determination, and on the night, it was difficult for us to match that, and it was just a wee bit extra ability that got us through in the end.
It's not so easy for us. Okay, we played against smaller teams, smaller clubs, but they all have 11 players on the pitch as well, and it's not so easy to play against the smaller teams. They have nothing to lose. The only team who can lose are Celtic or Rangers, so it's quite hard to play against such teams. They're looking very forward to the games against Rangers and Celtic, and so it's quite hard for us. But I think when we all concentrate, no one can beat us.
The next round of the tournament saw the return to Ibrox of former Rangers favourite Ray Wilkins. At the age of 40, it came as quite a surprise to Walter Smith that Ray would again be playing at Ibrox Park.
No, I never thought we'd see him back in a playing sense, but he was always enthusiastic about his football, Ray, and always said to me that he would play as long as he possibly could. He's kept himself in good physical shape. His ability, and the type of ability that he has means that he doesn't have to use the physical press to run about all the time and always be on the move. He can control the game, or try and control the game by being more or less standing still in the middle and taking the ball. Rangers supporters have seen him do that on many occasions for us, so we'll have to watch out for that on Wednesday and hope that we don't allow him too much room in the game.
But even the experience of Ray Wilkins wasn't enough to save Hibs. They were up against a Rangers team determined to sweep aside any opposition on their way to the final.
Wilkins involved straight away.
40 years old and full of enthusiasm. Careless pass though. Moore recovered well. Call to Gascoigne. Coyce with the return for Gascoigne. It's great play from Rangers. Here's Gascoigne. And the challenge was made by Brian Welsh. It was vintage Gascoigne. But look at the quality of the pass he receives though from Ali McCoist. Into the space it goes. Gascoigne on the burst. Brian Welsh comes across here to time the challenge well. Here's Moore. Now McCall. Allen seeing plenty of the ball on the left-hand side for Rangers, but frequently having to check back onto his strong foot, the right. Gough comes from the back again. Here's McCall. Gough is going straight in the penalty area, looking for a cross. The layoff from Gough. That's Judy! Brilliantly saved by Leighton. He made that look easy. It was very calm indeed. The Hibs keeper. Good play this though. The layoff from Gough into the path of Judy for the volley, and it was certainly going in. McCall holding off Jackson's challenge. That's Moore. Once again, Rangers forced to go back. This is Gascoigne. Now Alberts. Gascoigne again. Good movement offered by McCall. Good handling by Leighton. McCoy's hovering, looking for a slip there. It's a good pass again by Gascoigne into the packed penalty box, but McCall did well for him there. Didn't quite get on top of the shot. Miller looking for Keith Wright. It's well won though by Moore. Carelessness by Pat McGinley. Possession won by McCall for Rangers. Alberts. William McCoist has found space. A fine effort by McCoist on the run. He was being closed down so rapidly, I think he thought his best chance was to catch Jim Leighton first time. It's a good ball this though. That left foot of Alberts again. Ambitious, but it would have been some goal. Gascoigne now to McCall again. Bellin's return pass. Bellin still up with the attack. In goes Welsh. Well, a very faint appeal by McCoist for handball there. Correctly waved aside as Darren Jackson takes on Björklund. Waits for support to arrive. Asking a lot there of McGinley. Down goes Wilkins. Bowled over there by Cleland. Gascoigne in space. May try this by himself. Nope, sees Judy on the right. Good play by Judy! Superb finishing by Judy. 28 minutes of the first half gone. Created by Gascoigne, finished by Judy. And the first clear sight of goal he's had. But Hibs were caught with some men upfield, having been on the attack a moment ago. They suffered here. Excellent pass there from Gascoigne, but look at the way Judy checks inside to leave Jim Leighton helpless.
But the Ibrox fans were subdued when Ali McCoist was taken off injured to be replaced by Peter van Vossen. It was to be a turning point for the Dutchman, who found it difficult to settle in last season.
He went over a tough period, which was nothing to do with football side of things. It was problems that he had domestically. He's got over that now and settled down. And he's showing good form in a lot of the matches that he's played this season, and he's showing his worth to us. I think he scored 9 goals or that so far this season. So he's contributing to the team in a manner that he maybe didn't do when we brought him here last season.
In the beginning of the season, I spoke with the manager, and I said to him, "Yeah, what can I do?" And he said, "Yeah, you have to prove that you can play. You not have to prove that you are a good player. We know that you're a good player, but you have to prove that you can play in the first team." And before that point, I want to go to Holland back. But then after the summer, I said no, I want to try it here first, and we can see. And I had a good start.
It's not an exaggeration to say that it's a squad game nowadays. I mean, we've already used 20 odd players this season, probably more than any other team. So everybody, whether you're playing on a regular basis or whether you're called upon on a regular basis to come in and do a wee job, has to do it. And Peter's done well for us in that respect this year.
It is very important that you always think about being a part of Rangers and not that you only think for yourself.
A call to Van Bossen, he's away from Wilkins. Still Van Bossen using his running power and pace. Great play by Van Bossen. What a goal by the Dutchman.
I don't want to leave here anymore because it's a great club. It's a very big club, and they're all great lads, and the cover is very good for me because once in the 14 days then I can go back to Holland, and that's for me is that very important because I can see my family, and it's very hard to leave because it's a very big club, and especially now when you can have 9 in a row. You can be a part of history.
Here's Van Bossen again, enjoying this opportunity to stake a claim for a regular place on the side. Away from Wilkins, crowded out in the end. His direct style of play though is troublesome to any defence. Down to right. Good tackle by Petric. That's Moore. Van Bossen with a chance, cleared by Miller. Misunderstanding there in defence, giving Van Bossen that opportunity with a header. Hibs have survived. Keys right back in that defensive position on the left hand side, which he occupied for much of the first half whenever Rangers had possession, shutting off Craig Moore attacking on the right. Gascoigne to Alberts. It's for Van Bossen. Challenge with a good one by Dodds. Very crisply struck again by Alberts. He really does have his sweetest of feet there. He delivered that superbly again. Doesn't need a run up, doesn't need much backlift either to test any goalkeeper. Here's Stuart McCall. Here's Gordon Jury, back with Gascoigne. Good running by Ferguson ahead. Used the decoy by Gascoigne. This is Van Bossen. Led in well by Alberts for Jury. The marking was good. Very awkward left from Stuart McCall with the end of a deflection. Leighton still in the back of the net. He was scrambling for this one. Good clearing header that by Welsh under pressure. Just look at this one, spinning over Jim Leighton. There's pass, Van Bossen is onside. Jury waits in the middle. It's in this time. Peter Van Bossen's second, his 7th of the season. Hibs were exposed at the back. Well, here's Alec Cleland trying to make sure the offside trap is sprung adequately. Hibs appealed. Van Bossen, it was very tight indeed. He tried to beat Leighton and protect his post very well. It's 3-0. Alec Cleland has Ian Ferguson behind him. McInnes to Van Bossen. Foul by Dodds. Here's Alberts. What a goal by Alberts! close to the crowd with that one. Well, seldom have I seen a shot hit with more power than this. Look at this. Thundering it under the wall and rising all the way. Leighton had that chance. Well, that really was a collector's item, that one.
We practice it in Germany. I did a lot after the training, free kicks and so, but not here at all. I don't practice it here. It's lucky when I score the goal from this distance. Okay, I have a strong foot, left foot, but it's always lucky when it goes in the goal from this distance.
So Belcher starts a run. Oh, what a goal!
But lucky or not, it's goals like that and his general presence on the park that has already made George a big favourite with the fans. During the journey to Parkhead for the tie against Premier newcomers Dunfermline, the squad went through their usual pre-match routine to relax themselves before an important match like the Coca-Cola Cup semi-final. The match itself was watched by less than 17,000 fans, but Walter Smith was sympathetic about the financial pressure put on supporters by the great number of fixtures played by a Premier side.
I think people have got to face now that, you know, like we're playing Dunfermline and there are an awful lot of football matches around that time as well, and supporters themselves were having to pay a great deal of money to go and see these games. And I think the game being live on television and the fact that they were having to pay a substantial amount of money to go and watch the game, it was difficult. It was asking a lot of people to turn out in great numbers for that match. I don't think that it had anything to do with the game started. I think it was a typical semi-final game to start with. It was a wee bit of nervousness for each of the teams there, and it took us a wee while to get ourselves settled, but once we settled and we got into the game, I felt we played very well in that match and deserved to win it.
However, the spectre of injury had again visited Ibrox, with Andy Gorham, Ali McCoist, Alan McLaren and Gordon Durie all out. But the return of defender David Robertson gave some comfort to the manager. Again, though, the injury toll was at the forefront of many supporters' minds.
Two situations. One, we have a lot of experienced players here. Boys have played for a fair number of years now, and I think that's a requirement at a club like this, that you do have experienced players to handle the different situations that throw up. And the more experience you're getting, the more risk you run of these players being injured. The wear and tear over a football career definitely takes its toll. On the other hand, players like Alan McLaren and David Robertson have been playing in professional football at the highest level since they were 16 and 17. So there comes a stage in their careers after 10 or 11 years of playing that they find themselves with, for example, the knee problem that they had, and they have to take a break to make sure that those recover. That's the kind of situation that we're in at the present moment. People don't, I think, fully appreciate the difficulties of playing for Rangers over a period. They play in very competitive games. We're asked to play in an awful lot of fixtures simply because of the success we've had, and that takes its toll.
The first half of the match was not to be one of the most entertaining, but Dunfermline pushed forward looking for an early goal. It was a strategy that didn't succeed for them.
Smith might chase this himself. Well, at the moment, the powerhouse approach, if that's what you'd like to call it, is beginning to give Dunfermline increasing belief.
He's an awkward customer, big Andy Smith. He's difficult to play against, not very quick, but he's strong and he's decent ability, good in the air.
Alberts. Moving forward, but leaving it to Gascoigne. Now Anderson. Well, they gave him more room in that position than Bert Payton would have wanted from his Dunfermline defenders. Here's Markman. Well, it changed direction, and Theo Snelders was concerned then. Just a lazy swing of his weaker foot, really, but there seemed to be a deflection. And with the cross. That was Craig Robertson coming in for the challenge, headed back by Colin Miller. Snelders has to get to it, and that was a good punch that time to clear the penalty area. McInnes, he's given it back to Mark Miller. Petrie looking for his first goal of the season. He was top scorer last season. Den Beeman. It's a decent ball. Moore. And hoisted in again. Mark Miller. McInnes got in the way, but Mark Miller gets in the cross. Björklund. Gascoigne can't deal with it. It's a heavy touch from Craig Robertson, and now Gascoigne might trigger a counter-attack here with Laudrup. And Anderson is actually unattended, but Gascoigne and Laudrup looking to keep it going down the left, while Eric Boe Anderson was waiting for something to come in.
Well, I think that we must give a bit of credit to Dunfermline. I think sometimes not enough credit's given to the teams that we play against. They set out their stall to make it difficult for us to play, and they did so very successfully. And I think one of the turning points in the game was, scoring a goal 5 minutes before half time must have deflated them a little bit, especially the amount of effort that they had put into the game in the first half of the match. And I think they deserve a bit of credit for the manner in which they played. And once we got our nose in front, it was always going to be difficult for them. And I think the extra bit of pace that we had up front, Brian Laudrup and Eric Anderson, certainly helped us as the game wore on.
There is a return that reminds us all of his special gifts. That's a lovely ball from Alberts, and Laudrup round the goalkeeper, 1-0 to Rangers.
That's a magnificent ball. Alberts has caused problems tonight for Dunfermline at times when he's getting on the ball in those sort of areas, but the vision was fantastic because the pass was delivered at an angle that only he could see really.
Petrie, no offside. Dunfermline could hit back straight away. And Petrie trying to use others in the centre as decoys. Couldn't quite catch out Snelders down by his left-hand post. Laudrup. Gascoigne, room to turn. Albert setting off down the left. Gascoigne in a duel with his opposite number, Craig Robertson. David Robertson, hit the post.
I said before that we're missing him on the left-hand side of the pitch, and it's a good balance, and I'm hoping that for him and for George Alberts to start to link up and play productively down that side of the park. We've been a little bit unbalanced with putting the right footer and Alec Cleland over towards this side, and it's always a little bit awkward asking him to play in the wrong side of the park for him. So pleased to see David back.
Den Beeman making a useful run on the outside. Smith can use Den Beeman. Smith. Where he couldn't have got a call from. Anderson. Cleland on the gallop. Now Laudrup. Cleland again. Gascoigne at the far post. It's a lovely knockback. McInnes deflected. 2-0 to Rangers. Made by Gascoigne, and they've really got a firm grip on it now.
I celebrate every goal, even in training I celebrate goal because they're very few and far between for me. But it was a second goal, and it put us 2-0 up. But I enjoy all my goals, so as I say, they're very rare, but it was a good result for us and we ended up winning quite comfortably. It's been a good trophy for the club over the years. I know even from my time at Morton, it was a trophy that we always liked to compete in. It was a chance to play one of the bigger clubs, either Rangers, Celtic, and a Premier League club. So it's always been good for me. I actually scored against Celtic as well a couple of years ago, which I enjoyed that. I don't think you'll find anybody at a club knocking it. I think the only thing that's been said is because of so many games at the start of the season, but the actual trophy itself, it's never been in question from any of the players, and you've seen that by the way they reacted by winning the actual trophy. They celebrated it as if it was very important to them.
Smith. And Moore's in here. Well, battle well and truly recommenced.
Games can turn, on incidents like that. I thought after us getting the second goal that was us on our way, that we had settled down and we could go in and increase our lead. But Dunfermline hit back at that stage, and it was maybe the way semi-finals go, in the sense that Dunfermline coming back at us again after going 2-0 down. They left one or two spaces trying to get back into the game. We were able to exploit that, and we managed to run out fairly comfortable winners.
Anderson. Smith. And the shot was parried by Snelders out for Moore to score, but Laudrup. Dunfermline had to chase back here. That's McInnes, and the touch in from Anderson. So it is 3-1.
Well, nobody seen anything greatly in Anderson there, but he definitely got the final touch. Good run by Laudrup, in behind the defence here. And sure enough, it hits Bo Anderson and goes in the net. Very unlucky for Dunfermline.
Well, it might be moving perhaps more now towards an expected conclusion, but it's been a very entertaining second half. And we haven't yet had 20 minutes of it. Petric was just there in the right place with Smith waiting. Gascoigne. Goff. But after losing the goal, Rangers very quick to flex their muscles again. Anderson. Oh, that is the authentic article. His second, Rangers fourth, and there's no doubt now who's going into next month's final.
Well, that is a superb goal. Made a great run out, so lovely little turn inside, but the finish is stunning.
We must remember that was his first game of the season, and obviously going to be sort of ring rusty, if you like, and it took him a little while to get started, but his goal scoring record for Rangers is quite remarkable. He's scored over a goal a game, I think, at the present moment. So we hope that continues, but I think we've got to give him a chance to settle down and get his season underway, and it'll maybe take him 2 or 3 games yet before we see him at full fitness.
A spread of 3 goals in under 4 minutes here. Second half of this Coca-Cola Cup semi-final. And Moore getting one that looked very promising for Dunfermline, and then Eric Bo Anderson. 2 vastly differing efforts. Looking as though it's put the seal on it for Rangers. And he looks a different player now. Laudrup, the 2 Danes in tandem. Laudrup looking for his second. He's got it.
Well, Rangers are trying to conjure up a whole load of different types of goal tonight for you, Martin. I'm not sure exactly how you would describe that one there, but Laudrup is going at the defenders. Bo Anderson's already brought it down. It looks as if he's trying to work his way through between them, and it ended up just poking the ball like a tackle into the net. The keeper no chance. So, a strange type of goal, but effective nevertheless.
Despite the doubters, they did come here feeling that this might be a good time to play Rangers, as there are much aired problems. And for a time it looked that way. Certainly in the first half, and certainly at 2-1.
I agree with you. It was as good a time as any to play Rangers when they're down a bit. The worst thing about it is when like the Rangers and Celtic get 3 bad results in a row, that somebody usually suffers.
Gascoigne. Alberts, there's another one, 6-1. It's a real drubbing for Dunfermline now.
I love to play with Gaza and Laudrup up in front with Coisty, and they are brilliant players, and it's much easier for me to play them, so I like it very much. Okay, we speak all a different language, but we are football players, and that's the language we speak together on the pitch, so it's quite easy.
After that win, the Rangers team may have had the final in their sights, but before the big day, they had to focus on an event which would require courage, poise, and a desire to show who's best: the Ibrox fashion show. Preparation for the final continued after a home victory over Grasshopper of Zurich, which helped to alleviate the general disappointment of the European campaign. Although some of the warm-ups may have been unorthodox, it was another problem for Hearts to face, as they were still trying to dispel the nightmare of losing 5-1 to Rangers in the Tennant Scottish Cup final.
It would have been a difficult game for Hearts to go into that one. They had lost quite heavily in the cup final last year. This is the next domestic final, and they were having to play Rangers again in that final. So, you know, the first half hour of the game we were a better side, but in saying that, you know, it was a very tight match, and I felt that it was played out fairly evenly.
The Coca-Cola Cup final of 1996 is underway, and Hearts so enthusiastic about this opportunity to get right back on the rails after the Cup final defeat in May. John Robertson trying to test Andy Gorham. That's a good ball up the line, Laudrup with pace, goes away from Bruno and Ritchie. Needs support in the centre, very good recovery by Paul Ritchie. Still got a threat from this corner kick. Goff, Moore, Petric, all in the middle. Clearance came from Poulton. Gascoigne getting his customary reception from opposing fans. Laudrup against Poulton. Headed away by Weir, straight to Gascoigne. Oh, terrific skill by Gascoigne, an excellent tackle by Gary Mackay. Who was guilty of a foul. Gascoigne takes over in midfield. This is Miller. Hearts pulling all their men back to face the ball, allowing Rangers possession in this position. Concentrating and tight marking inside the last third. Petric to Cleland. That's Laudrup. Faced by Ritchie. Low free kick. Laudrup thought he was getting that. The referee waved play on. Petric. Clearance there by Weir from McCoist. Great footwork again from Gascoigne. Laudrup, away from Ritchie. McCoist. 1-0 to Rangers. McCoist does it again. Goal number 13 of the season. One off the League Cup scoring record now. Created by Laudrup. Robertson. Hearts very anxious to strike back quickly here. Started very positively indeed. That's an easy clearance for Goff. He picks out Gascoigne. Good running by Moore. Matched though by Weir. Here's Cleland. That's for Gascoigne. for George Alberts. Rousse's conscious of his shooting power. Scored 4 times this season, 3 times in the Coca-Cola Cup. Alberts. Well, we're not queuing up to be in that wall, I can tell you. Jim Jeffries not happy on the Hearts bench. High for Hearts. Away. He's got it back and has a chance for Cameron to break. Bjorklund goes across. High. Too obvious with a pass. Alberts picked it out. That's casual defensive play. Here's Robertson. Well, Gorham, I think, will tell you the angle's absolutely right there. Had that covered, but Robertson got a sniff of goal once again. There's Laudrup setting up Alberts. Laudrup wants it back again. He's quick enough here against Ritchie. Well, there's the problem again. Ritchie complaining. Alberts with a free kick. Moore and Goff have joined Petric in the box. There's Petric. Good marking by Poynton. Misunderstanding there. Laudrup and his teammates. Poynton now to Fulton. Cameron on the right. Robertson through the centre. Fulton on his left foot. Well, there's the problem for Robertson. The pace, the strength of Bjorklund. Fulton now with the chance for the cross with that very talented left foot. Hit away easily by Alberts. Here's Laudrup with his shadow Ritchie. Great play by Alberts. McCoy wants the ball played long. Delivered as requested. Great save by Rousset. McCoy's playing with the enthusiasm of a youngster. Leading a line extremely well, McCoy. Goes Petric, chance on there for Moore, it's played in by McCoist! The second for Rangers! 26 minutes gone, and a nightmare comes back for Hearts.
You know, I can't believe the poor marking in here. You know, McCoist is deadly inside that box. When it comes across, it comes into the middle. Look at the space he's got. Right in the centre of the goal, and he doesn't miss him from then. But really, you know, very, very slack defensive cover by Hearts. Good header by Petric to begin with, and when it gets to McCoy in there, he doesn't miss him very often.
Hearts played very well in the game, and okay, we were 2-0 up, and then I think we had a little bit relaxed the game, and they scored for the halftime 2-1, and it was quite hard for us then, and it was a hard game, but I told you, when we are concentrate, and we did it in the last 20 minutes in the game, we are the better team then, and no one can beat us then.
We're under a lot more pressure than we were last year. I think they were a wee bit embarrassed of what happened last time. We played very well and gave them a bit of a doing 5-1, which would have dented their pride, and we knew that it wasn't going to be that easy again, and it proved so. But at 2-0 up, we thought we'd done it, and they gave us a wee fright by coming back, and then they've equalised. So it was, to be fair, they all said it was a great comeback by Hearts, but it was an even better comeback by Rangers to go and win it 4-2, 4-3.
There's a good back here. Here's Mackay. Great ball in. Pye wanted it square. Corner kick's given. Real opportunity there for Hearts. Cameron playing it in for Fulton. Great goal by Fulton!
With Hearts coming back at Rangers, some signs of frustration showed, with McCoist and Gascoigne having a slight difference of opinion. It made for a lively discussion at half-time.
It was one of those situations that sometimes happen in football dressing rooms at half-time. Excitable places, you wouldn't want them anywhere else. There was bits of ball and shouting between one or two were members and others. But I think that these things are part and parcel of football. You wouldn't want a dressing room where people come in, sat down and never said anything or never fell out with each other or weren't involved in the game. You know that when you've got people that are motivated to go out and try and win a match, then you're going to get wee arguments and wee tussles. And as long as it doesn't affect your team and your team spirit overall, then it's a healthy thing. And maybe we had a wee bit louder and more voluble argument at half-time in the League Cup final than we've had for a wee while. But in saying that, if it means that we get a lift for everybody about the place when we go out and win the trophy, then that's the main thing. And it was quite an interesting half-time.
Rangers did sit back a bit after they scored the second goal and allowed Hearts to come back into the game with an attacking force. Ritchie is still man-marking Laudrup. No change in that tactic for the second half. That's Petric. Obviously taking the view that David Robertson, who may not have been strong enough to play 90 minutes, can play 45. He's in trouble here against Colin Cameron. Great save by Gorham. Cameron's opportunity. Gorham's a miraculous save again.
Magnificent pass by Payne. Colin Cameron nips in ahead of David Robertson. But there you are, that's Andy Gorham at his best, isn't it? 6 out of 5 the verge of danger. What a start to the second half that would have been for Hearts.
Well, that might indeed win the cup for Rangers, the save from Andy Gorham, but he's back on the ground now. He has been suffering from a hip injury.
Personally, I thought I was going to miss it. It was a big month for us. We had the Celtic game, which we were desperate to win. Proved so. Then we had the European game, which we needed to get points in just to shut a lot of people up. And then the Coca-Cola Cup final in all within the space of probably 10-15 days. So to come out with 3 victories is quite satisfying.
Robertson to Petric. Here's Miller. Holding off Mackay. Laudrup on the right hand side. Now Alberts. There from Alberts. Here's Laudrup. Left Ritchie for dead. Banging there for a striker in the middle. They've both been sucked to the near post. I mean Robertson, who was in the striker position, and McCoist. Robertson for Laudrup. Faced again by Ritchie. Over the cross for McCoist. The covering player was Poynton, who did very well indeed for Hearts. Oh, that's great play again by McCann. Robertson for Hearts.
The first half hour of the game, we were a better side. Deserved, I think, we're 2-0 lead. Credit to Hearts, the next half hour of the game belonged to them. And when they equalised, they deserved to equalise. They had been having us under pressure last quarter an hour of the first half and first quarter an hour of the second half. And when it went to 2 each there, they were the team in the ascendancy, and it took 2 exceptional goals from Paul Gascoigne to get us into the lead.
The Rangers really have to find a way to get Gascoigne back involved in the play in the middle of the field. Stepping away from Bjorklund. It's won back by Gascoigne. Here's Alberts. And now Robertson. Rangers wanted to see him making some of those Long runs on the left-hand side. You get the chance now, perhaps, from Albert's pass. It's well read by Weir. Excellent defending. Robertson battling well against Björklund. Thought he was fouled. The Hearts bench certainly thought so. Jim Jeffries giving the linesman an earful in front of us as Gascoigne breaks into a shooting position. He's done it! That spark of genius again, just what is required. Quiet start to the second half, and then this flash of inspiration.
Well, just when you think that he's disappeared, he's gone for a rest. What a magnificent goal he conjures up.
Well, Hearts will be very disappointed indeed that that lead, or that equalising goal, couldn't be held on longer because they were only 4 minutes on level terms. And Rangers, of course, answering a lot of questions, Gascoigne in particular, producing the goods just when they were required. Well, can Hearts come back again? Here's Gascoigne once more. Oh, he's done it again! It's a remarkable play by Gascoigne. He's won the cup without question for Rangers. And don't overlook the quality of the return pass from Charlie Miller in this move. Walter Smith animated on the track, and little wonder.
Look at that, he fights so hard for the ball. Plays a delightful 1-2. Gets to the turn pass, and look at the composure. Again, it's a pass into the net. He doesn't try and smash it. He just delightfully sees a bit. This early part of it, fought for the ball there. Again, he goes right to the heart of the defence. Delightful 1-2. And thank you very much. There's another one.
Now Weir. Mackay, they have to have the ball played forward quickly. McCoist is backtracked and point and do some marking. Cameron. Dumped away by Goff. The referee checking his watch regularly here. The Rangers supporters anxiously waiting for this final whistle. What a contribution Hearts have made to the final. Björklund's header, that's Robertson. Returned by Bruno, up and under. Goff wins it for Rangers. Moore plays that up the line. The referee brings the game to an end. Rangers have won the Coca-Cola Cup.
That victory was the 20th for Rangers in the competition's history, but the manager was keen to point out that success will never be taken for granted.
It's difficult for us a lot of the time because, like everybody else, we take enough abuse when we're not doing well, and now we're at a situation where we're not even getting a great deal of praise when we do well. So it's difficult to accept that a lot of the time, but it's part and parcel of being with Rangers. It's part and parcel of the success that we've had over a period. We were delighted at the end of the game. If you'd seen the lads in the dressing room at the end when I've won it, they were still delighted to have won it. And as long as we've got that within my dressing room, and I keep that within myself, as long as the motivation there is to keep Rangers successful, then that's what we'll try and do. But you know, just now we're having to sort of go against a tide of people thinking that it's just another Rangers trophy.
So Richard Goff on that familiar path to collect the trophy. Done it so many times as Rangers captain. He goes to do it again. The trophy held aloft to the Rangers fans. Andy Gordon, who made a big contribution for Rangers.
The starting point was the Celtic game. They were saying they were going to end up 9 points in front of us in this, that and the other, and that gave us the real motivation we needed to go to Parkhead and beat them there. That was a real kick-start for us. The rest just fell into place. You get likes of Coiste coming back from injury, sticking the ball in net all the time. Gaza's Gaza. If anyone changes him, they want shot, because I think if you change him, you'll not get the same player. And to be fair, the foreigners have come in a lot of players here for the first season. all credit to them to handle the pressure. It is difficult coming to Rangers. All credit to them to come in and do it. To be fair, it's been a massive team effort. It's never will be about one player, as I've found out over the years. And we've all pulled in together and we've got ourselves in a good position now.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola Cup final, it was brilliant to play for me. It was my first medal with Rangers, and I think it's not the last one. And it was an incredible feeling. I cannot explain the feeling. You must send yourself there on my position, then you understand. It was unbelievable.
In contrast to the journey to Parkhead for the semi-final, the return trip to Ibrox was a slightly more boisterous affair.
It's not the same like the Glasgow Rangers. No, not one. No, not one. This front here and the bluebells are blue.
It's a cup we haven't won for 3 seasons, so it's good to get it. It's good to get under the belt, you know. It's always been a lucky cup for us. It's always been a lucky cup for us. So well, I've got to give all the credit to Hearts because I don't think we played too well. But
Abandon ship.
we might as well stop it.
Abandon ship. A bad time to do this.